Well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Can I ask you a question, Dr. Session?
Yes, sure.
Where were you in 1990 when
With Nelson Mandela, that has happened in 1990 on this day. So yes.
well, you can't put your finger on exactly what happened?
No, I think this was probably the day when Nelson Mandela was released, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes,
well done.
exactly. Exactly.
On this day,
I couldn't get the date, but I know it's 1990 because
1990,
I
yeah.
was in
So on
school
this,
still and
yeah,
I finished in 94. So that's giving my
okay.
age away. But I was still in school, in
Mm,
high school, so beginning of my high school. And now Nelson Mandela was obviously, this was a historic moment. So yeah, I do remember it
yeah.
really well. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just wanted to test your South African history, and now you got it right. So,
Mm.
on this day in 1990, Nelson Mandela was released from prison after 27 years of
Yes.
incarceration.
From
And
Robben Island. So yeah,
from Robben Island, yeah,
it
yeah,
was definitely
yeah.
definitely a historic moment. Sorry, I was just waking up a bit still, but yeah, no, it was definitely a historic moment, and it's definitely a moment that changed my life, as well
Yeah.
as a lot of people that I know, and all the South Africans. And I think it, and I do attribute not just because of my parents and my family and friends, but also because of Nelson Mandela and his influence, that I was able to go and study at a university which was primarily Afrikaans. So I studied in Bloemfontein, which was the University of Free State, and I was the
Okay.
first Indian to finish in the Free State. So prior to that, in 2000, there were no Indians that came out of that university. And up till today, I absolutely honor and admire Nelson Mandela. He's not only a hero for me, for the kids, for Ferdy, but for everyone in South Africa, because he fought. And I do live a lot by his principles in terms of,
Mm.
knowledge is power, and, obviously, fighting for justice. And, he
Positive
fought.
action without violence.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There's so much of good that he stood for. And I think up till today, he's still in schools, even here in the UK, the kids learn about Nelson Mandela. When you go
Mm.
to the prisons in the UK, you see pictures of Nelson Mandela. And there's
Mm.
always, something about him in the news, or something that he's inspiring people daily. And I just wanted to say that, I'm so grateful that because of,
Yeah.
he was released on this day in 1990 from Robben Island, that so many of us have benefited. And it was a struggle. It was really a struggle for people. We wouldn't know it as much as the people that came before us. I don't think
Yeah,
we
I,
had it.
I, I I do agree with you on that, on the fact that even though I know that in schools all across the world, people talk about Nelson Mandela,
Yeah.
it's most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's just, oh, Nelson Mandela was incarcerated for 27 years because of his fight against apartheid, and
Yeah.
then he became president, and this and that. So it's sort of perfunctory, you know. But what went into all that, all those 27 years, even before that 27 years, what went with him, and not just him, but so many other people,
Yeah.
Steve Biko, and people that we don't even know
Yeah.
of, we haven't even heard their names, the suffering, the torture,
Yeah.
the the I'm short of words, right? How these people were treated inhumanely, and like they were treated like animals and
Yeah.
all that. And but through the resolve of people like Nelson Mandela and others, uh, Bishop Desmond Tutu, I met him twice.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yes, I
Amazing.
did. Yeah, yeah. I had a dance with him actually in
Oh, you're
Nairobi.
so lucky.
Yeah, uh, and
That's
and all that. You know,
amazing.
and people like these people, What's this guy's name? Well, he was a youth ANC youth leader, and
Steve
he was sort of
Biko.
in the
Was it
background.
Steve
Kepi
Biko?
Shole, he was called
Oh,
Kepi
okay.
Shole. I did meet Kepi Shole as well.
Oh, wow.
And all these amazing, wonderful. And now we are here, and South Africa is where, well, not really there, but there's been plenty of strides made for the freedom of
Yes.
human beings. I mean, if you look at how fellow human beings treated other human beings, it's just appalling and shame. I think apartheid must be condemned in the strongest of words.
Yes,
Anyway,
as I said, the people before us, like our parents and grandparents and, their generation of people in South Africa would be able to know more. But when you read the stories, it is shocking as to, about the Group Areas Act and about apartheid. But as I said, thankfully to Nelson Mandela, my future was changed. And I am where I am, I think, because of my parents and family, and also because of him. Because, I was able to be the first Indian that graduated from a predominantly Afrikaans university, which was in the heart of apartheid, which was in Bloemfontein. So, yeah, really a remarkable man and someone that influences me on a day-to-day basis. So, Viva Mandela, and so long live his legacy, and obviously his Amandla Wethu.
Amandla Wethu. Okay. I think after this show, I'm going to play a song that was dedicated
amazing
to Nelson Mandela and to the injustices of apartheid, and it was written by Stevie Wonder. I'm going to try and find it and play it right after
amazing. That would be fantastic.
But if we say we're going to talk about Nelson Mandela, we'll need
I know
like 4 weeks to go on. So let's just crack on with the coronavirus pandemic. So the first thing I want to ask you or talk about with you on coronavirus is the fact that they're saying on the news that the coronavirus variant first found in Kent could become the world's dominant strain. And that's according to the head of UK's genetic surveillance program. And she's Professor Sharon Peakle, and she says that the new variant has swept the country and is going to sweep the world in all probability. This is no good news at all.
Yes. So I think that's the headlines, is obviously that the Kent variant could sweep the rest of the world. And Prof. Peacock is saying once we get on top of it, or it mutates itself out of being virulent, which is what I always say, causing disease, then we can stop worrying about it. But at the moment, as it stands, the mutation that it is of the Kent variant, it's going to be very concerning. She said we're still going to be doing this 10 years down the line, in my view. So that's a bit of a concern, isn't it? That obviously we don't seem to have any sort of positive news in terms of this this variant. But so it sounds like this variant is there, it's not going away, and it is going to have concerns around the world. And then they say, then in her article, she also explains about the Oxford jab, where it attracted controversy about its effectiveness against a new variant, whether it should be used with elderly and how far apart the doses should be given. So they said there were trials in South Africa where a variant has acquired mutations that seems to help it evade immunity from vaccines and from previous infections. And it will offer minimal protection against mild to moderate disease in young people. So that's something that we knew already here.
Well, it's not. It's a bit concerning, but hopefully the vaccine will help solve this problem. But looking at 10 years, with this the probability that it's going to be around for at least 10 years. In a way, we've got. I would say we've got the good side and the bad side. The good side would be that if it stays with us for this long, then we will get used to it, and our immune system will fight it.
Yes.
And it would become probably it become like just a normal flu.
Yeah.
You get it, pump yourself some drugs, and then you go to sleep, and then that's it, end of story. But at the same time, if it's going to be mutating and becoming, stronger and deadlier, then we've got to be careful.
Yeah.
I have a feeling, Dr. Seshni, you might agree with me or not, but I have a feeling that we're gonna have to stick to all these regulations like wearing face masks and all that for a very long time.
Yes, I think that's what we probably, I think that's becoming now reality. A year down, we are still obviously in the pandemic. We're still in lockdown. We're still having the rollout of the vaccines, which is still very uncertain. So I do agree with you that this is going to continue for a very long time. And we're nowhere near the end of this pandemic. Yeah, moving on with the news, there is obviously some news in terms of the vaccine. They're saying that they're going to give top priority to people with asthma, so that's good news for people with asthma, and obviously underlying conditions that they will be given a priority to get the vaccine. And then obviously there's still a lot of confusion around the summer, what's happening for summer, what's happening after the 15th of February. So there's still obviously lots of unanswered questions as to whether we're coming out of lockdown. Will it go back to a tier system? And what's going to happen for summer holidays? Can people start preparing for summer? Because as you know, a lot of people some holidays, a long holiday, 6 to 7 weeks, and a lot of people prepare for summer holidays and traveling abroad. So are we going to have immunity passports? Are people going to be able to travel?
No. I think because there was a news article that said that the UK government is ruling out immunity passports.
Yes, I think the one article did say, and from the outset, they were quite open that they were not going to be forcing people to have an immunity passport. But I think somewhere along the lines, it's going to come into effect. I think it might be a possibility that we will need an immunity passport, that wherever you travel, because as it is now, Apoko, you have to have a negative test to go into wherever you want to go.
It's more or less an immunity passport, isn't it? Exactly. I mean, because if you can't travel without a negative COVID test result, it's the same thing. It's not as if you're carrying a yellow card, like the vaccination card that we used to carry around, and all that. But at the same time, you need a negative positive test. It is exactly the same thing, isn't it?
Exactly. So I do think that we are going to need immunity passports, or we are going to have it at some point, whether it's only going to be here in the UK or all over the world. I think other countries will adopt it. And I think you spoke about immunity passports where you all had a passport where you had to have your vaccination schedule showing that. So it's not something that's uncommon. It seems like it's something that will happen.
What you remember? I remember we were talking about this. Well, not immunity passports, but negative COVID tests at airports, and I did raise a concern about the fact that I've heard people saying that the airlines are not allowing, or they're not accepting NHS negative COVID tests, and we were not too sure if that was right or not. Actually, it is right. If you go on some of the airlines, especially British Airways, on their website, it is there, loud and clear. It's written right there that they will not accept the NHS, and I wonder why.
Yeah. I really wonder why. I also wonder why, because that's quite obviously difficult. Because
I think it's quite insulting. The reason I'm saying that is, if anybody should do anything right when it comes to medically, of course the NHS, they've got their flaws. Everybody's got flaws, but NHS is a trusted health service organization. So why they won't accept NHS negative COVID test reports. It baffles me.
Mm.
I'll probably bring them up or something in us, and then we will get the answer. And then they probably
Yes.
have a reason.
That would be good to find out. So, I mean, put people in a lot of difficult positions, because a lot of people, when they have symptoms, we have the NHS helpline number, which is 111, which we've been talking about since the outbreak. And then when you get symptoms, you have to, or you've been in contact with someone, you usually have to phone the NHS number, and then you go to a drive-through center or through a different center to get tested. So I would imagine that I mean, and I know a lot of people that have gone through to the NHS to get tested. But then again, I do know of a lot of people, and I've seen lots of articles and social media posts where people have gone privately to have tests done. So yeah, I honestly would like to know why they would not accept NHS tests.
Yeah, this has to be investigated. We'll have to find out.
Yeah,
I have to ask them. Because I don't think it's right. But then again, they might have. Or anyway.
Yeah.
So
just regarding the summer holidays, I think what they're saying is obviously, it's still uncertain as to confusion over summer holidays as demand for staycation stores. So I think on the one hand, a lot of people will be wanting to go on holiday, but on the other hand, because of the concerns and the risk, I think, and the new variants, I think that's going to place a lot of concern on people actually deciding whether they want to go on holiday or not.
Yeah, I was quite hopeful that around Easter time they would have lifted the lockdown, and then people start moving about a bit. People are kind of tired staying at home.
Yes.
But at the same time, we'll have to look at it. We'll have to look at the other side as well. Well, how is that going to affect us? So yeah, we have to weigh the two sides. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you also know, Dr. Steshny, that on this day last year, I can see you smiling. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, he's about to drop another bomb.
No. I'm always prepared. I'm more wide awake now than I was at 7 o'clock.
Exactly today, on this day last year, Dr. Tedros and his team, they named the coronavirus, the disease COVID-19.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I was looking through all my memories actually last night, and I put one of us reporting live where we started to do the report very soon or very early on from the 2nd of Feb. And yes, I did come across that information. Yes. So COVID-19 actually became a reality. What we are going through, the pandemic, actually became a reality on this day. So that is breaking news, and obviously from the World Health Team, Dr. Tedros and his team, that's a year on. We are still here, Pogo. That's reality.
We're still here. We're still here. I remember not long after we started reporting during the COVID update, which we started 2nd of February. We said that very soon. We pray and hope that we are very optimistic. Very soon, we will report 0 deaths, 0 cases. We're not there yet. We're far from there now. But I think that one day, very soon.
It will happen. It will definitely happen. So, what you've said, they say UK should be more or less free of coronavirus crisis by Christmas, Sage scientists predict. So they're predicting that we could be free from the coronavirus pandemic at the end of the year, which is what an epidemiologist has predicted. So Professor John Edmonds, who's a member of the SAGE team, which is the scientific advisory group for emergencies, said some measures obviously would remain probably forever, which is what you were saying about the mask. But he thinks that we will be more or less free from by the end of this year, by Christmas. So he warned against relaxing lockdown restrictions too quickly and said that this needs to be very cautious about foreign travel. So there you have it, exactly what we've been talking about and questioning. He says, I do think we do have to keep our borders pretty tight at the moment. Nobody likes it, but we've identified these significant new variants that are out there, and we need to be able to arm ourselves against them. And we don't have new vaccines that potentially arm ourselves against the new variants. So I think that's, and then Boris Johnson said on Wednesday that people wanting to book a holiday would have to be a little bit more patient, as it's too early for people to be certain about what we will be able to do this summer. So, and Prof. Edmonds is saying that it would be a touch and go whether the reproduction number or R value of the coronavirus transmission would rise above 1 if schools reopen on March the 8th. So I think that says quite a lot. And he says it will be very dangerous to let the virus rip even after the most vulnerable have been vaccinated. And 1 in 4 adults in England who have received the first dose of the vaccine, Boris Johnson is said on Wednesday that he urged priority groups to take up the offer for the jab. And then they said that this Prof. Edmund said the new variant found in Bristol may be able to reinfect people who have been previously infected or who have been vaccinated. So the Prime Minister said on Wednesday that even though more than 13 million people had received a jab in the UK, it meant that 2 million more in the top 4 priority groups covering the 70s, health and care staff, and the clinical extremely vulnerable have not been vaccinated. So he's urging care staff, home workers to receive the vaccine before the 15th of February. So with less than a week to go, there's no doubt we've made great strides with just over 13 million now vaccinated in the UK.
How many?
13, 1 3.
Well, that's a lot. That's good.
That is good news, yes. But they're saying 2 million of obviously the high risk and high vulnerable risk, and also the healthcare workers have not been vaccinated. So I think from that it says a lot. There is obviously sages saying that there's a possibility that we might see the end of the virus or things getting better out of the crisis as it is by December, but measures will still be in place. So we'd still have to wear masks, socially distance, hand sanitize, and wear face covering. So that will still be probably a reality, and encouraging people to work from home. And obviously, Boris Johnson is quite clear that it's too early to book for your summer holiday. But then again, I do know people that have been criticized, that have been traveling. People have contracted the COVID-19. And again, now we're going to be probably in the same position, that people will continue to book holidays despite the government advice.
They're saying that. What is the situation on the ground in terms of the numbers? We can start doing the numbers, but
Okay.
I'm particularly interested in what's going on in the United Kingdom right now. Is it getting better?
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go to it. So in terms of the 24-hour figures, for the last 24 hours, we've had 13,010 positive cases with 1,001 new deaths.
So the deaths are still high.
Still high, and still very much
infections are coming down.
Yes. So the infections have come down by about, because we had seen cases in the 45 to 50,000. So it's now 30,000 for the last 2 days. So it definitely has come down by a quarter or a fifth, I would say. And no, so it's come down to like 1/5 or 1/4 of the total numbers we've been seeing over the last 2 to 3 weeks. But the number of deaths have still remained the same, which obviously, and high as well. Not as high as what it was in 1,500 or 600, but it's still significantly high.
It's high, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So let's crack on with the rest of the points then.
Yeah. So moving on with the figures. The time just goes. I've just realized. So in terms of the Worldometer figures from the COVID-19 update, today, the 11th of February, 2021, it is 107,871,473 positive cases around the world. Total
Yeah.
number of deaths, which are 2,365,249. Total recovered are 79,887,003. So that's the top figures. USA number one with 27,897,214. Positive cases, number of deaths, 483,200 deaths in USA. Number two is India with 10,871,060 positive cases with 155,399 deaths. Brazil number three with 9,662,305 positive cases with 234,945 deaths. Russia number four with 4,012,710 positive cases with 78,134 deaths. UK number five with 3,985,161 positive cases with 114,851. So we're nearing 4 million, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We've only got just a couple of thousand there.
Yeah. And number 16 is South Africa with 1,482,412 positive cases with 47,145 deaths. And we have Ghana, which is getting there, sorry.
9.
Yeah. So has it gone up, gone down, Ghana?
Yeah, it's gone down to 89 now. It's
Yeah.
80 now. Yeah, it was 88 yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, yeah. That's why it was just. So Ghana is 73,003 positive cases with 482. And as I said, the 24-hour figure for the UK obviously is still very, very, still a concern in terms of the deaths with 1,001 new deaths and 13,013 new cases. So yes, so I think it's getting better in one sense that the numbers are going down. So we're hopefully coming out of our crisis as Sage is predicting. But in terms of the number of deaths, I wonder why we're seeing so many deaths. Is it because there's not enough beds? Is there not enough? Is it because of the variant is showing us how virulent it is and how much more dangerous it is?
Or is it because, could it also be because these deaths are happening because of previous infections, previous cases?
Well, it could be. I think it could be, but it's still a concern, I would say, because and I think for me, I'm more inclined to think about the variants. I'm inclined to think that the new variants are the cause for this, because if we've come through this pandemic, it's been a year, Apogo. We know what the treatments are. We know how to diagnose it. We know what the symptoms are. People are getting tested. If we think about a year back, we were not that knowledgeable about it. We didn't have any clue about it. People are using masks. So why is it? Are we still seeing thousands that are dying? So that's something we can talk about tomorrow. Thank you so much, Apoku. Go on. I want you to talk. I don't want to leave it till the last minute because I always do that. So let's give you a minute to round up. Usually it's always a rush. But I think that was most of the news we wanted to tackle today. Still not much clear clarity around the vaccines and what's happening with the variants. Still a concern in terms of the variants. I think that's predominantly the news that we have, and obviously urging people to reconsider their summer plans. But it's understandable, the psychological impact of staying indoors, having cabin fever, and just being stuck throughout this pandemic. I think it's getting to people. So yeah, that's obviously, it will be each person's decision to make that decision of whether they're going to travel or not, and safely as well.
Thank you very much, Dr. Seshini, for joining us once again. And as I promised, right after you get off, I'm going to play that song that was dedicated to Nelson Mandela and the apartheid by
Yes.
Stevie Wonder.
Thank you so
The
much.
title of the song, it's Wrong Apartheid.
Wrong.
So,
It's Wrong Apartheid. Thank you. So Viva Mandela and Amandla Awethu.
Amandla Awethu. All right. Okay.
Mandela.
Thank you very much, Dr. Seshini, once again. So as soon as you get off, just listen to it on your radio, yeah?
Yeah, I will do that now.
All right.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you tomorrow. Have
God
a blessed day,
and love to
my love to your family.
Okay,
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. So thanks everyone for listening. That was the hospital radio update with Opoku Apare, and I hope you guys enjoyed that the update today. Obviously, still not much clarity on the COVID-19 in terms of the vaccines, but we are still seeing high numbers, especially in the UK. So I'm just mindful that we've come to the end of the show, but I'm going to play the song which Opoku is currently, as you can hear. So he's played that song, Apartheid is Wrong, which is by Stevie Wonder, and it's in memory of Nelson Mandela. So guys, have a fantastic, blessed day wherever you are, and do stay safe, wear a mask, use hand sanitizer, wear face covering, and make sure you keep yourself and your loved ones safe. And please do join me on Be Happy Doctor's Kitchen later on today or tomorrow, celebrating Chinese New Year and then Valentine's specials. So hopefully we'll be in store for a jam-packed sessions with me, Seshi, at the Happy Doctor's Kitchen. But until then, guys, stay safe wherever you are, and do take precautions, and let's spread the love and not the virus, guys. Namaste, and lots of love from my family to you all.